We all hope that you found someplace comfortable with a frosty beverage and an ice pack to cool down after we were roasted Sunday night at an event, Andy, that some people are describing as not only an entertainment breakthrough for the wide world of professional sports, but also a potential savior for the world of comedy and the art form that is roasting. That's right. The greatest roast of all time, the roast of Tom Brady, Sunday night on Netflix, was, as some members of the writing staff and producers told me, an absolute smash for Netflix, for sports, for Tom Brady, for live comedy. And I got to tell you, much the same way a couple of years ago, Steven Spielberg said to Tom Cruise when Top Gun Maverick brought people back to the movie theaters, I think the roast of Tom Brady is going to end up being an absolute boon for comedy and for live streaming entertainment as well, which is a beautiful thing. So we start on that very high and positive note on this, the latest and greatest episode, as always, of Six Rings and Football Things with your old pals, Nick Fitzy Stevens and Andy Jumbo Hart. Now, the other night we did the crossover event of the year, as some people are describing it, as the hashtag Dork Podcast jumped in with Six Rings for a 1 hour live breakdown and recap of the roast of Tom Brady. So if you want to hear all of our thoughts on the roast and then some, of course, you can check that out. It's available on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts, and you follow Dork and Six Rings.
It's not safe for work. So if you listen on a speaker at work, we did get into the mood of a roast.
It is very unsafe for work. But again, as a recap of a roast should be, and as the roast itself should have been, that was my big Monday takeaway as we record this on Tuesday morning, May the 7th. My big takeaway was, I don't think it's too hyperbolic. I don't think I'm overstating things when I say that this roast, there hadn't been a good roast in a long time, whether you want to blame it on COVID. In particular, I hate to say it, but I think cancel culture and fear of doing a roast appropriately crept into the back of a lot of agents, writers, managers, and ultimately comedians' heads. And of all the people that are the most thin-skinned usually amongst celebrities, it can be professional athletes, because oftentimes they're told to be humorless. Well, in come Edelman and Moss, not really, but Gronk and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and and then a host of comedians and other celebs to the rescue of the art form that is roast, to the presentation, to the joy that a roast can bring about. This was massive. This was a truly spectacular event. Tons of people are going to line their pockets from it. I hope we see more celebrity roasts coming up, and especially with athletes. And my selection with Rich Keefe Monday night, the next one should be LeBron James. But first,
no chance. No,
come on, he's got to do it. He's got to see what a smash this was
on the planet. He has no chance he does it. There is absolutely no chance.
But see, here's the thing, Andy. What happens is someone says, like, you see how well Brady did? You see how much, like, Brady was able to survive all the jokes that apparently now have made the former Mrs. Aaron Hernandez, Shayana Jackson. Now she's all up in arms. As Jenkins, thank you. This just in, you should have probably have seen what your husband was accused of and or was sent to prison for.
But I will also say,
clapping back.
She's a little right. Like, every single person, based on my memory, had an Aaron Hernandez joke. Like that horse was beaten and beaten and beaten over and over and over again.
Andy, there's a reason why they call it low-hanging fruit and why people go after it, because it usually hangs very low, because
even
it is over.
Yeah.
Andy's own Kevin Hart joke right there, by the way. Thank you very much. And I have another note on a joke related to Andy Hart momentarily in the roast of Tom Brady. But low-hanging fruit is so easy to get because it is overripened and full of sugar, and people can't help but eating it. So it makes sense that you would go for it. And it's right there. And I hate to say it, they all made people cringe, but they all made people laugh as well. And then this morning, I read just before we got to podcasting that now Giselle is up in arms because she believes her family was disrespected and she's not happy with her portrayal in the roast of Tom Brady. Ms. Bunchen, you were the queen of Patriots Nation, and we loved you for a decade and a half, and you helped sire two heirs to the GOAT's throne as well. So we appreciate you for that and so much more. That being said, we didn't step out on Tom Brady with Karate Champ. You were party to ending the marriage. And by the way, it's a roast. Everything is fair game. And if you can't handle it, then you shouldn't tune in, or you can just turn off your mentions.
Yeah. And first of all, I never liked her. I never had any desire for part. I think she played a role in the demise of the dynasty and the fissure between Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. So screw Giselle like a juju.
Sending him to that weird stratospheric Met Gala celebrity layer that had him dressing like an Egyptian prince once. My God, nobody made mention of those outfits.
I believe you like to say F the hell off or whatever. That's what she can do. I'm not a fan of Giselle. And now I do like that had to be a consideration for Tom is the kids and families. And I think that's what Cheyenne Jenkins is talking about. But that's
True.
The reality.
Okay.
Like the truth is never mean.
There we go.
That's my simple fallback. And especially to me, Giselle doesn't have a single leg to stand on because she's a celebrity. She is a world-renowned celebrity. Like she lives in the public sphere. She decided that's what she wanted her career to be. She has collected hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars by living in that sphere. So you take what you get when you're in that world. Now, your idea on LeBron, well, first of all, two parts. I am so glad that this was basically well received. It has sort of reconfirmed my faith that we're not falling apart as a society and humanity. Yes. I mean, I know people be like, oh, MAGA Hart, of course you liked it. It was racist and homophobic and this and that. And I did see a couple of those.
That's true.
Well, yeah, sure. And I did see a couple. So South Park, and everybody loves South Park. Like, again, this was South Park. That's
Jesus, people, it's a roast. You are supposed to go out. There are no sacred cows. Nothing is taboo. Nothing really should be off limits. And if the host, or rather, excuse me, the celebrant, if you will, the target, the guest of honor, lays out in advance a list of things that they would prefer be taboo or not touched, then you have to try to respect that the best you can. Otherwise, you shouldn't be a part of it. And maybe, see, that's why there was a lot of controversy, or at least conversation Monday, about the Mr. Kraft massage joke. You know, did Jeff Ross just do it? And then Brady's like, no, I need to step in there and protect my guy because Mr. Kraft is honoring me with my own big day in June. Or this is sort of what I got from some people that had worked on it, that it may have very well been something where it was kind of like secretly agreed upon. Like, all right, Jeff Ross is kind of borderline uncancelable as a comedian now because he is the roast master general. He's a writer on this. He's a producer. He's one of the organizers. He's supposed to get out there and say the most uncomfortable things possible. Again, that's what people who roast for a living do. So if he goes out there, he can take the bullet and or the sword. I'll put the massage joke out there. Brady can clap at me, or we can do a whole like, all right, that's enough of that. So actually, in ways, if that was planned, it was a very smart, calculated move.
Yeah, I do think it was planned. I'm hoping it was planned because, as you said, low-hanging fruit is there for a reason, and that's the if Robert Kraft is going to sit stage side, well, now you've opened yourself up, just like Kim Kardashian has. Oh, opened up what, Andy? And you're sitting stage side. It's fair game, but this to me felt like wrestling when it's at its best. When you're like, is this real, or is this part of the script, or did they go off the script? Did Bret Hart get screwed? There's these times in history of wrestling where you're not quite sure where the script ends and where anger or actual discomfort or reality or backstage issues are coming into the forefront. So I'm going to give them credit that this was well. And Tom, I don't think Robert's in on it. I think Tom says, this makes me, in Robert's eyes, maybe look good. We address it. We didn't avoid anything. And yet we can kind of move on and we're all happy. And that's how I'm choosing to accept. Because if it was real, if Tom really got up and stopped him, well, Tom, you're a bitch like your ex-wife.
Yeah, I was going to say that teetered on a bit of a, as we like to call it, a douche move. Like that would sort of come across as thin-skinned, or I mean, I understand the protective nature of Mr. Kraft and not wanting people to then turn it into an Orchids of Asia, a palooza, if you will. But everything should be fair game. I'd also like to point out to Ms. Bunchen, the kids were never mentioned during the entire. I never heard any jokes about the kids. Never heard any jokes about
Barstool Sports has ever made fun of your kids.
Yeah, exactly. I never heard anything about Brady's penchant for long smooches or whatever else, which became a fodder for roasting when Tom versus Time was the web series du jour for Pat's Nation 7 years ago. Again, like this, it's going to be. I'll tell you this. So back in 2013. I have no video proof for a reason. I took part in a roast at the Friars Club in New York for you may be familiar with her. She's the host of Top Chef, Padma Lakshmi. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable, terrific lady. stunning in real life. I mean, almost doesn't look real. But anyway, so I get to be like one of 7 or 8 comedians that were roasting her back then, and it was a blast. It was so fun, and I had a great set anyway. I would love to be able to actually share it because they were going to give us all YouTube clips, and that's the kind of stuff you can use to get work afterwards. All of the clips were pulled because she said the one thing is just please nobody make any jokes about my daughter. And of course, one guy did like 5 jokes about it. You saw the life exit her face. And afterwards, she thanked everybody, ignored this dude. And later we got a memo just like, sorry, all the footage has been pulled because all it took was one rotten apple to spoil the entire bunch. Sucks.
Yeah.
So,
and I understand that as a parent. But again, it's that weird world of if you put yourself out there, especially as a celebrity, and like choose to take part in this. And again, I'm assuming whatever the financial details were, either Tom Brady's charity, both. Like I know there was the discussion that he made charitable donations to all the former teammates, charities, and that's all great.
Yeah, he did.
So you put yourself out there, everybody's benefiting, you're going to take it on the rear end a couple times that you may not, even a couple where your fake smile may fade a little bit, Tom Brady. Or so
you have to find ways to do different things like, oh, look, I'm going for the tequila, not the water on this one. By the way, side note, how great. I mean, I know Tom Brady is in complete control of his body. Nobody knows their temple better than Tom Brady might. But how in the hell did he not have to slip off to the restroom for 3 hours while intermittently sipping on tequila and water all night long?
I was wondering that, and you saw some people did. There was a few acts where you'd see a player like sneak by out the back there and go over to the bathroom. But that was my biggest question as this went on for 3 hours. And I'm like,
that's why I hate 3-hour movies like The Avengers or Lord of the Rings, Andy.
And he can't. At this length, it kind of needed an intermission for Tom to go potty and anybody else who wanted to go potty.
All right, everybody, get yourself a hot dog or a cigarette. We'll be back in 10 minutes with the Roast of Tom Brady Part 2.
So I need 2 more things before we move on real quick. Okay. So I did enjoy that this was generally widely accepted. And as you noted, not just about Tom Brady, not just about Netflix. This was about political correctness, roasts, comedy, where it's going. I saw even your friend Jason Whitlock wrote that the dam has broken, he believes, on political correctness or whatever that is. Could be the last
person I would ever follow or enjoy, but thank you very much. Why don't you go ahead? Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead. Yeah. I also saw your guy. Who's the other guy for Outkick?
Clay Travis.
Clay Travis. Yeah, your boy Clay Travis. Maybe you can lump me in with Joe Rogan.
Sure.
Speaking of which, Tony Hinchcliffe, somehow I had never heard of this dude before. Instant fan.
Yeah, I was not familiar with him either. But this is more your world than my world. I don't really dabble in the comedy world. So that's my one issue. Now, the flip side is you went on a nice rant last week about you people, your people, and every people that are piss ants.
I did. And by the way, I would like to also say that I didn't get a lot of clapback for being thin-skinned or for being too sensitive. Yes, every now and again, we all do check our mentions just because we like to have an open dialogue with people. Otherwise, what is the point of social media? I did hear from a few fans that said, like, by and large, and a few friends even, like, by and large, like, good for you for, A, just getting it out of your system because you're only going to rot if you just keep all that anger inside of you. And B, people do every now and again need a cautionary reminder. There's a human being more often than not on the other side of that @ symbol on the Twix platform. We're all just not spam, AI, and bots. Okay.
So this week it was my turn because
congrats.
Yeah. I wrote a column. We both wrote columns yesterday off of the roast, and mine was basically how awesomely entertaining it was that all
Excellent.
Yes, except I compared it to the fact that sadly that was the most entertaining aspect of Patriot Nation in the last 4 years, and maybe for the foreseeable.
Did you not think you were going to get just a wide world of you peoples coming at you?
Am I wrong?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So the truth is never mean. And the thing that I find funny is everybody's like, oh, Hart trying to save EEI by being negative, and his boss made him write something. Nope. That was honestly my opinion. You had your boy, Robert Alvarez, who loves to tell me I don't actually believe what I'm writing. I do. Like these people, you people that think all opinions must align with your own, must agree. Yeah. I'm not saying you have to like my opinion, but don't tell me I don't actually believe my opinion. I have never, ever written something or said something like dramatically that I didn't believe in. Maybe I fluff it up a little bit for the art of radio or TV, but the foundational point I believe in. I write and I don't write, unlike a lot of people in this day and age, I don't write what I think the audience wants to hear.
Andy, that is a great point. I feel like more often than not, whether it's one of my, silly little Instagram videos, our conversations on the podcast, Weekend FM work, your columns, whatever, even tweets sometimes. Like people, I think we are, for lack of phrasing, we're almost sort of like collateral damage in the fallout of the Max Kellermans, the Stephen A. Smiths, locally, the Michael Felgers, people that don't even really necessarily believe. They just think, how can I possibly enrage, entertain, and engage today? Like I call it the triple E factor. And it, that you have to respect their art form, but please try to discern or delineate between who's actually doing something because they just want to get ratings, and it works for a lot of them, and God bless them. They got to feed their families too. And
cha-ching.
But why? But I don't say anything that I don't believe. Even sometimes if I'm going for a silly, goofy laugh or whatever, like I come at it from these are my freaking feelings as a lifelong goofball fan. These are your feelings as a hard-ass visor-wearing coach / critic of local sports who has a profound love of them as well.
And I've always found there's portions of the audience that agree with you. Now, a bigger portion may disagree with you, and that's fine. But there's always a portion of the audience. I always say when you're doing radio, if you have a question, if you're not sure what is transpiring within the discussion, if you have a question, ask it, because there's a member of the audience that in all likelihood, at least one has the same question. Like some detail of the conversation got lost. Ask the question, get the answer, give it out there for everybody, yourself, everybody to hear. So it didn't really bother me because it's the same people, the Robert Alvarez's, who apparently doesn't like anything and is miserable in his life. But this idea that we write stuff we don't believe to fulfill the requests of our bosses or to be counter to, nope. And by the way, they were like, why don't you just write that it was really funny? And I was like, see, the headline said, Tom Brady, hilarious roast, shows how far the Patriots have fallen. Like, the hilarity was in there. I acknowledged how great it was. Just tremendous. Like 5 or 6 years ago, the Patriots ruled the world not based on roasts, but based on roasting opponents on the field. And that is my point, is the Patriots, the most entertaining thing in Patriot Nation right now was Tom Brady's roast and Bill Belichick's, shot with Robert Kraft and all of these things. Sadly, and I believe this, sadly, nothing to do with the football team, the football field, or its talent. They may get there. Drake May, it's May, baby. Soon you will be on the field, and soon we'll be hitching our wagons to May number 10. But for now, entertainment value of the Patriots is at the Kia Forum on a stage telling jokes.
Exactly. And it may very well continue a month from now, 6/12/24 at the sold-out Tom Brady Patriots Hall of Fame induction ceremony as well, which will be a blast.
Did you see a lot of the reactions that are like, not sure we need the 6/12 ceremony anymore?
And I can very well convey that there were some internal thoughts as well, like, this roast doesn't seem very well timed considering we're throwing a 55,000 person attended spectacular for Tom Brady. This is probably going to set Craft Sports and Entertainment back a little bit because they'll have to make sure, from the guest list to performers to anybody else that's been invited or that will participate, they're going to have to make sure that it's different enough now from the roast of Tom Brady. Although I'm pretty sure you're not going to have people like Andrew Schultz and Nikki Glazer, Sam J and Kevin Hart dropping colorful metaphors, 4-letter words, and sexually inappropriate innuendos all night long. But that's what made the roast great. All right, so I'll sum it up with this. You people and Andy Hart continue to do battle much for the entertainment of the majority of us that check out weei.com or that are a part of the Boston sports conversation. And I do not think it is that big a takeaway, or rather too grandiose of a takeaways, if you will, to say that sports roasts can actually happen and be entertaining, and that the art form and the presentation and the joys of a roast could very well be back. So we are appreciative of the growth. I think it was a smash for all parties intended. If you guys had any other thoughts on the roast of Tom Brady, give us a shout at 6 Rings Pod, at Fitzy GFY, and at Jumbo Hart. We are always here for you. Andy, usually when in line waiting for a pizza. All right, carrying on here on 6 Rings and Football Things. Let's get to everything else in the wide world of Pats Nation. The news, notes, rumblings, and bumblings that take place in Patspourri. All right, let's get to a couple little nuggets before we do a little front office action. Andy, Nathan Rourke, we hardly knew ye. The likely fifth string quarterback of the New England Patriots, who was a Canadian Football League sensation, picked up last year, re-signed this offseason, now bid farewell. His ship has set sail. We are Rourke Star. We hardly knew ye. I know nothing about this guy whatsoever, and I guess it's probably best in that case.
Yeah, this is a minor offseason transaction, basically because you drafted Joe Milton. If you had not selected Joe Milton, Rourke would have made it to camp as the fourth quarterback, because most teams like to keep four quarterbacks throughout the summer for,
camp arms.
Yeah. But what it makes you now think about is, okay, you got the 4. Most you're going to the season with is 3. Is the Bailey Zappe era done? Is it Joe Milton's third? Because the top 2 are locked. It's Jacoby Brissett and Drake May. The only question is the order. Like, that's the only question. There's no shot in hell that there's that surprising Cam Newton cut when Drake May wins the job. Not going to happen. So the question is, number 3, you think about the QB depth chart as of May. Are you comfortable with Joe Milton, a raw rookie quarterback, being your third stringer? And everybody goes, oh, it's third string. Check last year's NFL. Every quarterback practically on every team's depth chart played. There was like 172 quarterbacks that played. So there's a chance that your third stringer plays. Would you play Joe Milton, or do you keep Bailey Zappe around? Because for whatever you think of him, the guy's played in NFL games. He's won NFL games. He's started NFL games. I am on the go Joe Milton. If you reach third string, you reach third string. I don't care. He'll entertain me. I don't need to see the Bailey Zappe era continue.
He can hand the ball. He can hand the ball off 100 times, throw 1 or 2 deep balls just for the crowd. I mean, like, again, I don't believe
arm punts, as you like to say.
Exactly. The arm punt. I honestly believe that Bailey Zappe is going to get a lot of action this summer. And there will be those that are saying, like, hey, Zapper looks good, could be fighting for that third string job. No, the Patriots are going to do, I think there's enough respect in the building. I know there's enough respect amongst the players for Bailey Zappe that they are going to give him every opportunity to showcase his talents, so that if another team calls and says, you know what, we could really use a good backup or a quality third stringer, how about a 7th rounder for the Zapper? And the Patriots would be like, please, yes, and thank you. By all means.
If you can get anything for him, I am all for it. Now, using your logic, I also think that the more he does, the more he displays his physical limitations and abilities. And, that could be a diminishing returns type thing.
I would just put on the tape from the first half against Pittsburgh and then just be like, there, that's all you need to see.
That's probably fair. I would actually hide him because I think I've told this story a million times when I went to Boston College football camp in high school and they did the vertical jump or whatever, and I tried to jump, and the guy before me nailed the hell out of those little fingers that hang and you slap them to get how high you are. And little short, fat, white Andy Hart never even reached the little slappers. And it was like, hey, could you lower those a little bit so I can actually make contact? I think that's Bailey Zappe on the practice field. It's strong arm, Bailey Zappe. So, if you can get a 7th round pick for him, add it to the resume building of one GM Elliot Wolf.
Well, that actually sets up our next conversation rather nicely. And I know we have rookie minicamp coming up this weekend, so we're going to have our first chance to take a look at some of the guys in uniform, in action. It's a shorts and shells type of affair, yes?
Oh, yeah.
We don't, the pads don't come on until summertime, so this will be a little shorts and shells, but you'll see Drake May out there. People are going to fawn the same way last year. Remember the big hit of the spring social media-wise for the Patriots, and boy, does this tell you exactly how much actually your column may have been right to a certain degree. The only thing people got excited about last spring was one little slow-mo video, I think, of like Christian Gonzalez in a white jersey and shorts jumping up to make an interception. And people are like, look at the muscles on his legs. Look at that form. We got a new CB1. Let's go. Lockdown corner, shut down corner. Like, guys, if this is all we have to get excited about, we are in deep doo-doo right now.
Yeah, but enjoy it. It's your first look at Drake May. It's your end. They'll have numbers on. We don't have to try to figure out, hey, who's number 57? Why is he playing wide receiver? Oh, that's Javon Baker. Nope. They will have numbers on because this is not the Belichick era. So no, I like this, although I will tell you something. Take nothing from this. Take absolutely nothing from this, because I'm going to tell you one of the worst, if not the worst, rookie mini camps I ever saw. You want to guess who it was?
Gronk.
Nope.
Brady?
Nope. But you're in the ballpark. You're
Garoppolo.
in the Kia Forum ballpark.
Edelman?
Was effing horrific, falling on his face, returning punts, and they were bouncing off his face, dropping everything, slipping. Looked like he'd never run a
Jeez.
route. You know why? Because he'd probably never run a route. Looked like
He
he'd
didn't
never caught a
really,
punt.
really hadn't.
May not have caught a punt. So and obviously made leaps and bounds and work ethic, and they loved the athlete and jumped. But don't, if Joe Milton's probably the wrong one to point to, but like if Javon Baker's just terrible, or that running back that I said should compete, the Fenwick kid.
Oh, the Fenwick kid. Or what if Jalen Polk goes up to
Right.
high points and balls and falls on his ass, or
Whatever.
can't reel it in?
Jamar Chase. Remember when Jamar Chase is like, I can't catch the ball because it doesn't have a white stripe on it. I don't know how to catch this ball. So let's just all the positive that are too positive, or the negative that are too negative to come out of rookie minicamp.
Right.
Just take them with a grain of salt and move on.
Temper your expectations, indeed, and just be happy to see your new guys out there as well. By the way, side note, or quick note rather, Andy's favorite website, Pro Football Focus, recently came out with a list of their favorite selections by round 1 through 7 at the 2024 NFL Draft. And yes, Patriots fans, the guy that has generated the most noise and the most buzz outside of the new QB1, Drake May, has been rookie wide receiver in the 4th round, Javon Baker out of University of Central Florida. He was Pro Football Focus's favorite pick of the round as well. This kid can be a star one day, potentially. I said it a long time ago. We love all of the off-field noise and excitement that he's brought. His video last week, at a training session with his new footwork king, whoever this coach is that's pumping out his videos. He said, there ain't no effing way there's 10 receivers better than me in the NFL. I mean, I think it was you who said, let's hope this kid is half as good as he thinks he is, because if he is, the Patriots got one.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm not gonna, this is new to us because this wouldn't have happened for 20-something years as a fan base. Like, this would have been squashed. It would not be allowed to grow. But I don't hate it. The only thing I'm saying is, Javon Baker, you're writing some checks. I hope your talents can cash those checks. And I think there's going to be highs and lows throughout this, but there's no questioning his upside ability, his talent, and the energy, the old Andy Hart coaching, energy, effort, and attitude. I know he's going to bring energy. I hope it's positive energy most of the time and not, sulking energy, because I do think there'll be some of that. If he struggles, he's going to get down on himself, because I think he's not even keel. Doesn't seem like there's anything about Javon Baker that's even keel. He's going to ride the wave of energy, good and bad. But, there's talent there. And I keep going with, I feel like these two receivers are going to be a tandem. Gronk and Hernandez were a tandem, and where you compared skills and how they complemented each other and personalities. I think Polk and Baker you're going to have the mature, beyond his years, Jalen Polk, and the energetic, emotional, crazy Baker, and their relationship. How do they come together? How do they produce together? And if you get a couple, if they become an 1,800-yard package within the next 2 years, I'll take it. I'll take the tandem.
Yeah, that's exact. I hope these guys are a dynamite tandem. Give us our T. Higgins and our Jamar Chase right now. That would be a beyond.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm
a little.
I'm right. All right. I know.
Nico Collins, Tank Dell, or I think we need to shoot a little lower.
Hey, listen, you know how much I love me some Tank Dell, and Nico Collins has quickly come from nowhere and actually was a 2nd-round draft pick as well. So I'll take that. If they are our Collins and Dell, which sounds like a Rhode Island law firm, then I will be more than thrilled with the picks. Now, speaking of making the picks, Andy, I think we all can say at this point now, that's right. The Wolf of Ball Street, by and large, got great reviews, has been lauded for his calm, steady demeanor, his football intellect, and what was seen vastly as a reasonably, if not very successful draft for the Patriots, that he's had a very steady hand, seems like he is fit for the job. But why, oh why, fair Patriots fan, has Elliot Wolf not been given the title yet of general manager of the New England Patriots? It's because the Patriots now beginning their head of football operations / GM search has to do with the Rooney Rule. By and large, I like many believe that this is fait accompli and this is Elliot Wolf's job, and that people are going to come in for the interview, and unless someone comes in and blows them away to a degree that they don't even know what they just bore witness to, or this is his gig, but they have to go through with all of the interviews. Didn't someone even just turn the Patriots down? Didn't even want to bother with like a Zoom interview or coming into the stadium because even that, maybe somebody that works with the Bengals.
Yeah. So 2 points real quick.
Yeah.
Trey Brown is the guy that turned them down.
Okay. Thank
Not
you.
Troy.
Trey Brown.
E, not O. From the Bengals front office, formerly some Eagles front office work, blah, blah, blah. And then there is a report out there from Ben Volen. So I don't know if that adjusts the report in your brain at all.
No, he's got good intel. People don't like the manner in which he presents his intel, but he knows what he's talking about.
He has reported that the Patriots have already adhered and fulfilled the Rooney Rule, which throws a wrinkle in what the hell they're doing. I don't believe the report because I don't know why they'd be interviewing these guys if they'd already fulfilled the requirements of the Rooney Rule, because if that's the case, then just give the title or do whatever you're going to do with Elliot Wolf. Because I don't know how you let Elliot Wolf pick the number 3 pick, Drake May, make that selection, talk all the talk that he's talked in recent months over the spring and winter,
be involved in the hiring of like assembling a team of his people from Green Bay and Cleveland, and then say, sorry, we're good. Thanks, guy.
Right. So I tend to be on your side of the street where I don't think they've fulfilled the Rooney Rule, and that would be the reasoning for this. Now, this is where Brian Flores is probably pissed off in the sham that is some of the aspects of the Rooney Rule in a team like this. And Trey Brown is probably saying, well, you're hiring Elliot Wolf. You just let Elliot Wolf draft Drake May, number 3 overall. The only reason you're interviewing me is to fulfill the Rooney Rule. So no, I'm good. Thanks. No, I don't have any. So I tend to believe that, but I just wanted to throw it out there. Ben Volen has reported that the Patriots have already fulfilled the Rooney Rule and don't need to go through this show.
Well, maybe there could something that could be to it is excessive caution in double fulfilling the Rooney Rule, just to make sure there are no scandals and no clapback or discipline from the NFL offices. And B, maybe this also just sort of goes with the whole new approach. You've heard them taking down signs, putting up new mantras and mottos and big signs. The mural that's being painted inside there with opportunities provided. Mayo and other famous players will be involved with a young child aspiring to be a player. Well, they're just they're doing things very differently. So much so there was a whole furor in terms of Patriots social media last week, just because there was a little logo in an office or a boardroom that basically had a circle and it had the Elvis in the middle, and it said New England Patriots football team. It looked very much almost like a something would be like a mansion, like the logo of an EPL team or something like that. I do not believe people. I've even pretty much heard from internally at Gillette Stadium that that's not a new logo, that the Patriots are not rebranding, that's not the new thing like Patriots Football Club. It's just someone did an alternate fun little thing in there, but they're doing things differently down there now. So I'm with you, and I'm sticking to my original point that I feel like they're going to do their due diligence and make sure they talk to as many people as they can. But this is Elliot Wolf's job in the end, in the long run. And finally, could you, I heard this name but once, but didn't know much about it. It seems like there could very well be, for Gerard Mayo and Elliot Wolf and company, a new sort of Matt Patricia in the building or on staff by the name of Evan Rothstein. I am, I think a lot of fans, mostly unfamiliar with him and his work. Could you fill us in on who Evan Rothstein is and what his role might be?
It sounds like, based on some of Gerard Mayo's comments, his role may be your guy, Ernie Adams, and sort of that analytical. There's 2 things here. I like it in that we've seen a lot of first-time head coaches have to add that person mid-season after they F up. Oh, they F'd up a timeout. They F'd up a decision late in the game or whatever, and they add that person. I love that they know they need that person. They have that person, and they're developing that relationship in April and May and June to be ready for the season. The one thing I'll say is you're not Ernie Adams, in your accomplishments, but more importantly, in your relationship with your head coach. Ernie Adams and Bill were sneaking into BC practices as high school students to write notes in their dorky little books about how much they love football. I'm sorry, you can't recreate that in a couple months. But no, he is a guy that is well thought of, Evan Rothstein. I believe came with Patricia from Detroit.
As a matter of fact, that is correct. Yes, he did. He was he started his career with the Lions as a quality control special teams coach, 12 and 13, then did special projects. Rothstein's role was offensive assistant research analysis. When Patricia was hired, he moved to head coach assistant research and analysis, a role he held till leaving the Lions to join the Patriots. So
right.
there you go.
And I've heard good things about him, but to just pretend he's the next Ernie Adams is similar to pretending Gerard Mayo's the next Bill Belichick. Like, no, it's
Drake
not happening.
Drake May's the next Tom Brady. Like, stop it. Ernie Adams is an absolute legend. He is a compendium of football analysis, statistics, and information. Like, he is another one of those living maesters of football. He's a vault of gridiron info.
But that doesn't mean that Drake May can't be good, Gerard Mayo can't be good, and Evan Rothstein can't be an asset to Gerard Mayo and the staff and the winning and decisions. And guess what? He may be, I don't want to say better, but he may be more modernly appropriate. Like he may be a new age version of like what it takes in this world of computers and AI and, you know, a youthful version in that role that can contribute in 2024 in a way that maybe Ernie wouldn't be able to, because Ernie's old school and Ernie's this and Ernie's that. Like, so I just, for me personally, it's just, I love the idea that he exists. He exists early. You don't reactionarily say, damn, I could use a guy who helps me with X, Y, and Z. You have a guy that's going to help you with X, Y, and Z right out the gate. So I love that.
It's a smart move to have more intellect, more analysis, more data, more information in the building. This is the way the game is evolving, and to even be compared, what an honor to be compared to like a potential Ernie Adams alongside Gerard Mayo as he begins his journey as the 15th head coach of the Patriots. I like it. I love it. Good to know about it. The guys over at Pat's Pulpit did a great breakdown of who he is, where he came from. This is the article that I was citing just moments ago here in the podcast. So you can head over there and visit our friends at Pat's Pulpit to check out Evan Rothstein as well. And of course, visit weei.com for the latest columns that you can get angry at Andy Hart about, recaps and blogitude from your old pal Fitzy. Andy will be there Saturday, May 11th, live at Gillette Stadium, taking part or checking out at least rookie minicamp. I don't think Andy's going to be trying to jump up and get the little clappers as he told us about earlier at the BC football camp, but you can hear from him. He'll provide some fresh perspective on rookie minicamp, what Baker looks like, what Drake May looks like, how's that Jalen Polk kid? Ooh, Jaheim Bell, this guy may be a steal, and so much more. We'll be back at the end of the week with another Six Rings podcast to keep you guys up to date on everything going on in the wide world of Patriots Nation, the greatest place to live in all of sports fandom. Let's go Bruins. Let's go Celtics. Let's have ourselves a nice positive week. It feels like Boston sports nature is healing. Let's keep all the positive momentum going. HT Dan Roach on the positive sports vibes.
Screw you, Roach.
For Terp, for Hart, this is Fitzy. Thanks for listening to Six Rings, everybody. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. This is the fastest growing Patriots fan community in the wide world of Foxborough. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. Good day. God bless. And as always, go Pats.